System Shock is the debut full-length album from Desolus. This is a Washington, D.C. and Maryland area thrash metal band, and one that focuses squarely on a very specific sound, which is more in the realm of early Creator and early Sodom, up to about Persecution Mania in general. This is an interesting band. It's a pandemic-formed group, one that references bands like, again, Creator, the sort of pre-extreme aggression Creator, Persecution Mania era Sodom, and Dark Angel as their general influences. Now, when two people sit down and they just write a bunch of thrash metal songs influenced by late 80s thrash metal, there's a certain result you're always going to get when you're inspired by those things, because there are generations of folks who looked right back to those same things and came up with similar material. It's unavoidable. So if you're a fan of Morbid Saint and Merciless, you're probably a fan of what Desolus are doing on this debut. If you're a fan of Protector and the first Massacre record, some of the best ever in my opinion, you're probably going to like what Desolus are doing on most of this record. This is about that aggressive. It does have that death metal intensity to the drumming via the drummer here, Travis Stone, who is currently the bassist for Pick Destroyer, but I think he was in Noisem before. If you're a fan of Hypnosia, you'll once again understand what Desolus are doing, although they're not reaching for such like a neo-thrash era thing, which Hypnosia kind of predated anyway, but in that sense, we're getting a good version of this Creator-style thrash metal, of this Teutonic thrash metal aggression. If you know those bands and you know what I'm talking about, that's how I would introduce this record. It's just very much in that tradition. And so, as we cut to this song, keep that in mind, that they keep the intensity, the aggression of what you'll hear throughout this entire album.
All the strength of life, they had us good in mind. What you see by glowing eyes, you know your time is now.
I think one of my favorite things in extreme metal in general is the stuff it launched off the back of an album like Hell Awaits or Possessed or Pleasure to Kill, and created extreme metal out of it without going fully there. There's that proto death metal feeling that a band like Desolus can carry just by virtue of having those same influences. So they're not exactly replicating Pleasure to Kill exactly here, so much as they are speaking to that era, creating that same aggressive touch, and kind of leaning into kind of on nearly death thrash feeling here for my taste. And of course, that's one of my favorite things. I think this is a band that does it especially well, and I think that the only time that they kind of drop the ball is not so much in terms of riffs. These guys are excellent at just cutting riffs and killing it throughout. It seems like a serious band in that respect. This is not just some couple of dickheads putting out some shitty thing because it's fun, you know. It's a really solid record. It's crafted meticulously, but it keeps that aggressive, throttled edge to it that is authentically of that, like, circa 1986, not sure what death metal is yet, but here's the most aggressive thing we can yet feeling, and they do it so well. There's more to this record than that, and as we cut into the second half, we start to see a different side of the band that is maybe the more Sodom-type songs, the quicker, more aggressive stuff. They mix it up a little bit as they go, and they're sort of telling a story along the way. So it's not just, subgenre music right off the bat, but it kind of is a tribute to the classic old-school thrash metal sound that seems like such a lost art today. So I'm very enthusiastic about that, and I think these guys do it better than so many others out there who just seem half serious or half-assed by comparison. You know, they've set a really great standard on this record that I think is worth celebrating, because we get, like I said, we get so many non-serious records that touch upon this influence, that it's great to see a band that gets it. They're active, they're playing live, they're out there putting serious stuff out there. So a big fan of this in general. For me, this is a high recommendation. There's nothing to really gripe about here. This is a well above average thrash metal release in a time where we're just not getting a lot of great ones. And it's cool to see this band is out there and pushing it for real. So this releases today on May 10th. Go ahead and check that out on your own time, and read my review and see if your thoughts and your opinions line up with mine.
Get it here!